and Max Gawn.
I've got a headache. I've got a banana. I've got a broken leg.
That slaps.
That's a much better intro, isn't it?
I was going to say, do you have a broken leg though? How are you? Are
No,
you all right? Are
I
you
would
okay?
say it's the best I've felt in a while now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you back?
I pulled up good.
Because over the weekend there was a lot of people talking about, oh well, Melbourne might be done for the season. It's time to put Max into, get you ready for next season. You're ruling that out. You're strong. You're ready to go. You're going to play for the rest of the season.
Yeah, AFL's too hard of a competition to start resting and giving up games and whatnot. So technically we still got a chance. I think we've got to win by 100, all three of them, and every other team lose. But
in this season of all seasons, that's still a chance.
That's still a chance.
Can you deal with the smugness that's coming from across the bench here?
There's no smugness.
There isn't a
What are you
large
talking
amount.
about? We're keeping a lid on it. At
No,
the Bulldogs.
that's the smugness.
What?
Before
Not
that,
being smug is a smugness,
Yeah.
is it?
It was that's as tough as the first quarter I've been involved in. That was
How are they? Seeing them up close, just give me a little. I know that this is not what you would like
This
to
is
talk
the
about,
smugness.
but just give me a little bit of. Are they the real deal, the Bulldogs? Do you think?
that was pretty hot. That was you did let us back in it a little bit in that second quarter.
We like to do that.
Yep. But then doggies at Marble. I've always said when they're up and going, it's an extremely tough game. So, and then you've beaten Geelong and Sydney. So,
well, Sydney might not be the feat that it looked like it was a month ago. What's going on with Sydney Swans?
I know, and we got Port this week, and it makes it look like an extremely tough battle for us. But I've always said so. Everyone was almost awarding Sydney the flag at round 11, round 12. Isaac Heaney was getting paid out at PointsBet, pretty much.
that's just because we're good people, not because he was deserving. We just like to help the punters.
Yeah, it's a charity, basically, right?
But you always want to be in the best form at this time of the year, which is what Western Bulldogs and Port and Brisbane are doing. So
Yes.
I'm not going to write Sydney off. They're obviously still one game clear and being the best team. They can still have a chance to get back into that form. But this is where you want to start playing your best footy.
How is Stephen May? Another big injury, another bad sort of knee into the ribs. He looks sore. Can you provide an update?
Yeah, I didn't see the vision or him going off the ground. But he was down in the rooms after the game and went off to hospital and whatnot. And I think a couple of ribs, which is our third ribs this year.
Incredible. No spleen?
No spleen.
Well, there's a small win.
No lacerated spleen. Still don't know what that does, but no. Look, I'm not sure what that means for him. He played a week after he only had 1 week off at the start of the year, so that'll all be talked about at some point.
And you were a bit flat, but you're winning the footy tipping competition here
Smashing
at Triple
it.
M Breakfast. So, Will, you're almost in danger of having to buy lunch or dinner or whatever days is
Yeah,
it.
there was a couple of results on Sunday that did not go my way, where I was
Sunday
right
was a
across
tough
the
day.
line.
So, Will, you got 5, Daisy 6, Max 7. But
Which should have been 8 because you didn't want to tip Melbourne, but you
winked.
had to as
I
the,
winked.
as the captain.
It was tough.
so overall scores, Daisy on 15, Will 16, and Max, you're on 20.
In fact,
you're flying.
we haven't
Flying.
won. Melbourne haven't won since the tipping comp started.
So you should have 2 more. Is that what
I
you're saying?
could be another 3 in front.
Have you been watching the Olympics?
I have, yes.
Your mate, Cam McEvoy.
I know, he did it. He
Yes.
did
This
it.
is it. This is
So-
the future.
Yes.
On Friday, you're explaining that he has some weird way of not training, but
Yeah.
training.
I've built my exit meetings will come up in my next sort of 3 weeks, and I've built what I'm going to say to Goody. It's around Cam McEvoy. So I'd need to stop training, do less training,
Yep.
and more weights.
Well, so in your case, it'd be once you've had 6 kicks, 2 handballs, and 40 taps,
Yep.
you could just get off the track.
Yep.
Simple as that.
It's an amazing story. And to be fair, apparently a lot of the 50 freestyle swimmers have gone that way, which sort of makes sense. They only swim for 21 seconds in their race. Why do they need to do all these hours of swimming? But yeah, it was good to watch. The swimming's good, isn't it? Do we win another medal? I feel like it always stops after swimming.
Yeah, we got a second in the 4x200 medley.
The mixed.
Mix, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was
and
a
a
silver
50.
also in the 50 metres women's event.
Okay.
From lane 7. Too.
Oh, yes. What's her name? I forget.
Harris, was it? Oh,
Yes.
hang on.
No, not Kamala. That's in the election.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Have you seen the inclusion of Snoop Dogg, though?
She came second as well, though.
Nice. Snoop Dogg just inserting himself in everything.
Yes.
Every time I go to Stan to watch the highlights, they do the top 5 best moments, and Snoop Dogg's in the top 5 moments every day. What does he do every day?
He gets around to so much stuff too. I don't know who's like getting Snoop around Paris, but he manages manages to get to every event.
Is he the
dealer.
ambassador? Is he the ambassador
No.
of the Olympics?
Just the official hype man for the USA team or something.
I think
Actually, they
unofficial,
didn't. Yeah,
who's
sorry, I
inserted
should have.
himself in. Is there a Melbourne equivalent of that? Do you have like? Is there like a celebrity supporter or something who like rocks up to all your games?
That's,
Who's
Who's the biggest name
Who's
that
your
follows
biggest
you?
Melbourne name?
we do have Hamish.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
good.
Yeah, well, that makes
that's
sense.
Hamish
solid.
Blake.
Yeah, he's almost top of the pile, isn't he?
Is Hubble a conflict with Stan or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. Those ads are everywhere, aren't they?
Every day he's hubbling. Yeah, I would hubble also for a shit ton of cash.
I've noticed Hamish is starting to say yes a lot more.
This isn't meant to be a feedback session. We're meant to be pumping up.
Well, he needs the money.
And his good mate Ryan Shelton.
Okay.
And Ryan sends me every time we win. He sends me a video of him singing the song, like hilarious. And when we lose, it's radio silence.
Yeah.
Don't
No.
worry.
When you
Ryan.
lose, he sends you an episode of The Imperfects to listen to get you through it.
Yeah. I might need one of them actually this week.
Do you have a suggestion, though, outside of those two, as to if you were to think of one Australian
Yes.
who you just go, right, it makes sense for them to be high enough a celebrity,
Yep.
but also a little bit quirky to become the unofficial hype
We're
man?
looking for a hype person for Brisbane 2032, basically. 'Cause who would be our Snoop Dogg person for who's the Australian equivalent?
I actually love the idea of how nuffy Eric Banner is.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's like a
nice.
full supporter.
Yes.
Goes and
And
watches
he's a big
training.
name too.
And
Yeah.
a huge name.
Yeah, he could be.
That's
He could be
good,
something like
actually.
Hemsworth. for your
Hemsworth
boys.
would probably
Yes.
be good
You
too.
ever been in the box with him? He always gets a little private box to the
Yeah,
doggies
no, but
games.
never been invited to the
Never been
Hemsworth
invited.
box.
He probably just trumps you a little bit in the doggies high off supporters.
Yeah, I remember in 2016. Yeah, I mean, for a while, Max, it was good times for me until he came along. Because, like, really, once I covered Ernie Sigley, I was like right up there. You know, it didn't take a lot.
You were the one
and
for a
then the
little bit.
Hemsworths suddenly come back into town, and they're like, "Oh no, we love the Bulldogs." And then suddenly, my phone's not ringing quite as often for box tickets. So I'm more available though.
Okay. Cold, warm, hot, sunny.
Seat warmers the whole way.
Seat
So
warmers the
nice.
whole way.
It actually, the weather map. If you want to,
Yes.
if you want to have a look at your app this morning, I think winter's done.
Over.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm calling.
Max has called it?
I'm calling.
All right.
You're
Have a
our
little look.
You're our version of the groundhog.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rain, and there's a 20-degree day coming.
Max has called it that winter is over.
Winter's
I'm
over.
Just
Yeah.
having a look at the run of the week for the South Melbourne weather, because that's where I am currently. No rain tomorrow, 16. Same for Wednesday, 17. Little maybe possible shower Thursday, Friday, but it is looking good. Sunday, full sun.
It's a good point
17.
you raise. What's your favourite city in the world?
I'm going to say
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah.
You're the captain of the Melbourne Football Club.
Yep.
You live in Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm going to
It's
say
the best
Melbourne.
City in the world.
We were talking in the break. I don't really understand the people that go hard at Melbourne weather. I think it's the best climate in the world. I mean, maybe Sydney I don't want to give Sydney ever an edge, but maybe they're
They can't play a test match in Sydney without it getting
No.
rained out,
Yes.
So their rain is horrible, but their winter sunny days
winter is
are quite nice. But we get to a low of what, 10. It snows in New York, London, Milan, Paris. It's pretty good.
This is good.
Have you-
pretty
I
good.
feel like when you become captain of the Melbourne Football Club, you also become unofficially captain of Melbourne.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good by you.
It's like the
Max.
Australian Test captain is
Yeah.
basically the Prime
Yeah.
Minister.
And nothing screams more Melbourne captain than being able to tell what the weather's doing in Milan.
Loves a frosty condition, bit of snow.
That is
You just did a little update for all the Melbourne supporters,
Yes.
wherever you are in the world at the moment, because we know you're not coming to the game.
And what's it like up at Perisher? Can you give us an update there too?
I could actually get a pretty quick update from a lot of people that are right up there in the snow at the moment.
Is there any footy we need to cover, or we'll do that Friday when Max returns at 7 o'clock?
Anything from the weekend, Max, that caught your eye that you really want to comment on? It's been a pretty it is so wide open.
Yep.
If you had to pick a Victorian team, just like outside Melbourne, obviously Melbourne's still a mathematical chance,
Yep.
but if you had to pick a Victorian team, we're a Melbourne show, there is still a role at the premiership. Who would you say it is?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like the two teams from the West. It looks like the Doggies and Geelong.
Would you get great pleasure in seeing both Collingwood and Carlton not make finals? As purely as the captain of the Melbourne Football Club.
those were the two teams that beat us last
Yeah.
final series, so it's always good to see some pain go their way.
Daisy would be in pain because he had a lot of corporates lined up.
Yeah,
that's
a great September for
I'm
you.
currently trying to work the angle that GWS wanted me at some stage, so I could be a class player.
And I tell you what, it's going to be Brisbane Lions again, and Jonathan Brown's going to clean up again, isn't he?
Everything's coming
Every
around.
time Jonathan Brown just cleans up. No, look, I actually know Mitch McGovern. He gave me the number 11 little jersey as well for George.
Yeah, good guy too.
And I backed him in, so that was slightly. I tipped them as well. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm thinking the interstate teams are pretty strong.
Did you kick one after the siren?
Yeah, I have. Do you want to go into it?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah. Well, how long do we have, Rose?
No, but your goal kicking isn't the strongest part of your game. For a ruckman, it's okay. What was going through your head? There's a lot of noise.
I marked it sort of 10 seconds before the siren, and I tried to rush it because I had a feeling I didn't think it was 10 seconds. I'm like, if I miss, we still might be a chance, which is a horrible mindset to have.
That's not
I'd
it.
already missed. But then the siren went, and I was never missing. We had no crowd down in Geelong, and all I could hear was Tom Hawkins on the mark, reminded me of my miss 2 years prior. And then Angus Brayshaw was behind me telling me to not listen to Tom Hawkins. So now I'm listening to Angus Brayshaw. So I was nowhere in the right mindset until I started walking in. I literally wasn't missing.
That's great insight.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was 10 metres out with no angle. It was tough.
Sometimes they're the hardest. If you're
Correct.
45 on an angle, you get forgiven if you missed.
Especially when my ball drops about a metre from my hand to my foot.
Thank you so much, Max. See you Friday.